What is up, YouTube? JankyYGO here. My name is Michael, and today we have a few new cards to talk about, including some cards from the anime that Kaiba used, and a Starry Night card. So let's jump into the Starry Night card first, and then we're gonna jump into the new Kaiba cards. So first up is Starry Night. It's a rank 4 light fairy Xyz effect, 1900 attack. Its health and defense, and its Xyz material, or any two level 4 monsters will do. So, you can use each effect among the first and second effects of this card's name only once per turn. First effect states you can detach this card or material from this card. Crystal summon one light monster from your hand. Second effect states if this card is in your graveyard, except this turn was sent there. You can target one level 4 light fairy monster you control, special summon this card, and if you do, you attach the targeted monster as a material. I think this card is actually very powerful. You can special summoning any light monster from your hand can be very good and extend combo plays and stuff like that. So I think this card is pretty good. On top of that, it also summons itself back from the graveyard if it's ever destroyed. So that's also really cool. Uh, I don't know what deck is going to use it. Maybe the Starry Night deck, or you know, I don't imagine the Photon Galaxy deck needing to have this, but maybe they might throw it in the extra deck. Who knows? We're gonna move on to the Kaiba cards though, which is I know a lot of people are really excited for. Um, so first up we got Attack Guidance Armor. Kaiba uses this card in the anime a lot. It's a normal trap card that says you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. When a monster declares an attack, activate one of these effects. Destroy the attacking monster, or you target one monster on the field other than the attacking monster and change the attack target to the target and enter damage calculation. So, uh, for competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, this isn't going to do very much. This is a uh, Sakuretsu armor, a non-targeting Sakuretsu armor, but a Sakuretsu armor, and battle traps have kind of faded out. Um, or it also, can or kind it like also takes out a monster from you, can stop you from getting OTK'd, which is neat. But competitive Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty much evolved past battle traps. As far as casual Yu-Gi-Oh, or for your Kaiba character decks, as some people like to build, I think this is a great addition to you know to the collection. And if you're a big Kaiba fan, it's very cool that we're finally getting it. Next up, we got Saved Life, or Life Shaver. It's a continuous trap card that says you can only control one Life Shaver. Once per turn during the opponent's end phase, you place one counter on this card, and its last effect states during the main phase, if this card has any counters on it, you can send this card to the graveyard. Then your opponent discards that many cards from their hand if possible, up to the number of counters that were on this card. So I think that this card is very dangerous, and I don't because and I say that because I imagine in slower decks and more controlling decks, this is something that you can flip up and like control your opponent, with your other cards, your other trap cards and all that, and then get counters on it. Even if you only get one counter on it, maybe discarding like you get one counter on it, and then during the main or battle phase, you send this card to the graveyard. It's still technically a 1-for-1. This is definitely like a stun slash control card. But I think it needs to, people need to find the right home for it. And I say that because like cards that discard cards or rip cards from hands in Yu-Gi-Oh are very, very dangerous. So, I think this card is like pretty spooky in that sense. Last but not least, we got mechanical magical mirror. So, it's a normal trap card that states when an opponent's monster declares an attack, target one spell card in your opponent's graveyard, set that card to your field. You can banish this card from your graveyard and send one monster reborn from your hand or face down on the field, special summon one Obelisk the Tormentor from your graveyard. If this card, uh, if this effect is activated during the opponent's turn for the rest of the turn while you control the special summon monster, each monster your opponent controls must attack it if able. So, this one is a little bit trickier. So, its first effect is pretty interesting, but I feel like that's better for mirror matches than anything because we don't run as many like generic spells anymore. We still run few. Some decks still run Monster Reborn. Uh, a lot of decks run like Pod Desires and stuff like that. So that's the things that like you would probably be grabbing with this. But the issue is that it doesn't. It's kind of like a battle trap. It relies on your opponent to declare an attack, and there's better trap cards to be playing. Its second effect is super niche, and yes, you could be playing it in an Obelisk the Tormentor deck, which Obelisk got a whole structure deck for. However, I do believe that like it's not something necessarily that the deck wants because it's the second effect is essentially activating Monster Reborn on your opponent's turn. Um, that's what it's trying to do. And usually, if your opponent's pushing for game, competitively speaking, of course, from like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh standpoint, I don't think this card is very good. I mean, but then again, if you're playing Obelisk deck, you're not necessarily playing like super competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. But you can always, but there is an argument that you can play like a casual deck competitively, and I think that this card, like if you wanted to play an optimized Obelisk deck, I don't think that this card is the way to go. But if you're just messing around with your friends and just playing and all that, you could try this card out. Especially if you guys play like a lot of the older cards and play like a low power of Yu-Gi-Oh, where uh, cards like this kind of matter, and you guys are playing a lot more slow, grindy games and stuff like that. I think this card is pretty decent. But that's gonna do it for this video. You can tell me what you think about all these cards in the comment section down below. If it is your birthday today, happy birthday, and if you want to send me any cool deck profiles or replays, send them to JankyYGO@gmail.com. It is in the description. And of course, and as always, have a wonderful day.